What's going on, guys? I'm just here at my shop getting ready to begin the process of tearing down my first gen GSX, the 4G63 turbo motor. A bunch of you guys already know, back for Labor Day weekend, timing belt decided to tear some teeth off and bent some valves, so don't know exactly the full extent of the damage, but just doing like what Jim's doing with his build process. Kind of encouraged me to go ahead and tape and record my breakdown. I'm working on it, so yeah, I guess we'll just see what we get going into on it when I do the beginning of this teardown today. Alright guys, so as you can see, I got a little bit of work done here. Battery tray, wiring harness kind of moved up over here. Of course, typical valve cover. And I just pulled it off, and this is what I had found. Rocker's just sitting here on the side, even on cylinder number 3 as well. So just all of these are basically loose except this one. These are all completely fine on the exhaust side. Nothing wrong at all or showing for anything. So my guess right now, before getting any further into it, is my guess is the intake side is what's completely shot on these. So hopefully it was just a minor slip on the belt that I have a very few amount of damage of bent valves. As you can tell, I mean, this cylinder head is just spotless and clean still. I mean, it's been meticulously maintained. So, but we'll try and figure out and see what else there might have to be done to it. Like I said, I'm hoping that it was just light mark work done onto it, so I can hopefully salvage the head once it's removed. I mean, worst comes worst. This is the 7-bolt, completely stock motor. I do have a 6-bolt head, which a bunch of the DSM guys always do 6-bolt head swap because they flow better. But if you guys already know me, I really like keeping it as stock as possible, per se. Especially with this one, getting it from the previous owner of 22 plus years of owning it. So he's owned this vehicle back from 97, 98. So I just want to keep this one OEM. It's been absolutely great until this incident happened. But other than that, I mean, it's just they're good and reliable, just being stock. So I already have my other one you can see back there. It's just the NA build in there, but it's still good. But I just want to try and keep it as stock as possible. I don't want it to be something that has high horsepower, really. The only thing that's not stock on the car is the exhaust, the K&N intake, and I do have a ACT lightweight flywheel and clutch upgrade, but that is it. So filter, clutch, exhaust, that's it. So I don't want anything else going any further for being not stock on it. I am absolutely in love with how clean the car is all around, and I just want to keep it that way. So we'll just keep digging into this and try and see what the damage will be later on. Alright guys, so did a little more tearing down on the 4G63 here. So I got a fan shroud out, so I was able to get the exhaust shielding off. took care of that. Took care of the accessory belts and the infamous pain in the ass timing belt cover here. Got it raised up, of course, to get the lower end and the timing cover off. And I found what caused my belt to freak out and snap. This little belt right here. This is what shredded the timing belt teeth. What this is the front balance shaft right here, that little sprocket I'm pointing at. That's what that belt is for. It's for the balancing of the engine, for less noise resistance. And that's what was shredded and caught all up in the timing components, which would have definitely made sense as to why it just sporadically had shredded teeth and caused this damage for it to skip. So just rubbed and caught into the timing belt when it was running and went for a little ride. So yeah, definitely sucks that happened, but it is what it is. I mean, it's a belt that costs $12-13, and that, you know, just that little belt is what took out the motor. So anyways, just gonna keep working on it, going at it. So catch back up with you guys on further updates on it. Alright guys, so I got the head off, and so far I am feeling a little bit more on the positive side now. Things after removing it, being able to see the bottom of the head, as well as the tops of my pistons actually. So looking closer at it, I double checked on the cam gears to see how bad the intake side was, how far off it was. It actually only slipped one tooth, which of course is still an interference engine, so it will still cause it to do what it did, bending valves, smacking the pistons, but it's actually not bad. So as you can see in here, how it's definitely made markings on them, but actually it's, I mean, that looks really bad here. That's just from also me lifting up the head gasket and all that kind of stuff. So that just small little dug in pieces there on the dish of the piston. It's very minimal as well, and I double checked around the walls as well, and absolutely nothing scarred them. So the walls on these are still completely fine. Here, let's get some light on there to show you. Nothing hit them at all. They still look super clean and super healthy. As for the cylinder head, obviously this is the intake side right here. So if you could take a closer look, it's got, you know, you see where it flattened it out on the valves here, kind of sandwiched and did a little sandwiched little markings on them. And as for cylinder number 1, I think it's probably like the most damaged per se. It has very small marks right here when they met the cylinder head. So far, just being able to look at this, it's giving me some really high hopes on getting this rebuilt. I don't think I'm actually gonna have to worry about getting my other cylinder head put on this. that I'll actually be able to keep the factory 7-volt head on it, which is what I really was hoping for and what I really wanted. So yeah, I'll just get my little spring compressor tool base that I've got. Actually, here, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Move some stuff out of the way. But this actually was fabricated and built from one of my good buddies. It was one of my really closest friends back up in my old hometown. And got the flash on still. There we go. Now I'm not blind. Anyways, he's actually the same guy that I got my NA Eclipse from. We worked together and everything like that. So he's a really good friend of mine. But he was also just an absolute fan of the first gens. And actually this was his 5th one that he owned, that he worked on before I got it. But that compression tool base is phenomenal. He was really into trying to make sure it worked out well, and it does. I've used it 2 or 3 times, and it's worked great. So once I get the caps off and the cams off of here, off the cylinder head, I'll be working on that part to getting it completely down to the bare head. Of course, take off the thermostat housing there, but get these taken out, and I'm gonna take a closer look into seeing how far the damage is, how well it is. If it's good enough, then I'm probably gonna give a really good shop guy a call. I might look around here in town, here in Sheridan. Might get some pointers from you guys and see what they charge. But I do know that I have a good gentleman back up in Billings. He does it out of his own garage shop, his own little business, and he's done excellent work. He's done my other 6-bolt head for me, and just did an excellent job. Just great with the work. Redid pistons and connecting rods as well for me too. Since it's at their compression set style for the DSMs, they don't have the little snap rings on them. But he's a great guy, great pricing. So I already know what he would charge to do something like this for doing reseating valves. And of course, redoing the head and hot tanking it. But like I said, I'm going to take a look around here in town to see what other ones might have. I remember talking to Tanner, I believe it was, when he was getting work done with his, telling me about a gentleman that he always went to, him and his dad, and never had any issues with them. So hopefully I might be able to do it locally in town. And that's what I'm kind of hoping for, to get this done. That just also saves for the travel of dropping it off and then traveling back up to Billings. That's where the gentleman's at, and get it done. So I think this might be the end of me working on this for the day. I'm gonna definitely vacuum out the ports here and on top of the cylinder, the pistons, because I don't want any of that just sitting in there at all. I just want that cleaned up for now, and then I'll be able to work on obviously cleaning off the block surface and taping it, masking it all off, so I can make sure I get nothing dropped down into the ports. And I will start getting my my little die grinder adapters and clean up the marring works on the pistons here, so I can just have a cleaner look and not gonna entirely worry about that at all. I'm just gonna clean it up just so it's a clean, smooth surface, and probably just go from there. So yeah, I guess until next time, guys. Keep you up on the update.